Oh, hello, hello, hello,
Ah!
hello, hello, and welcome to this final boss fight live Council of Tamrinor session. The council hall is feeling a little bit empty this week. You've got me and Geoff.
I lied, I was not ready.
Geoff was not prepared apparently. Geoff was right up on the camera. Um, I'm just getting the lo-fi music playing so that we've got some backing music. Um, you've just got Geoff and I for this Council of Tamrinor session. We are going to do some world building. If you are in the chat, do feel free to pop your opinions in because we would love to hear from you guys as well. We're going to start off with doing something that has come up because I'm taking our notes that we've been making in the Obsidian document and I'm translating them into a more laid out book form with chapters and chapter title covers and headings and things. I'm properly playing with typography and it's scratching a little itch in the back of my head to make this book look as professional and nice as possible. Also so that hopefully at some point we can actually put out a nice looking, at the very least, a nice looking PDF of this book, if not a nice limited edition run of an actual physical copy of the book. Because I'd
do
like
we get leatherette? Do we get a special edition with leatherette covers and embossed wording? Because I
I
know
mean,
somebody who goes for that stuff,
I mean, I'm
and it's not just me.
I wouldn't say no if it was an option. I would like a copy of it for the shelf behind me. It would be very cool to have like the player's handbook
So
and
look out on Kickstarter for the upcoming crowdfunding campaign.
the player's handbook, Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, the Taldore
Tal'Dorei Reborn,
Taldore campaign reborn, which
Tal'Dorei Original.
I have here as I've been referencing it, as well as the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide. I've been sort of looking at both of these to see what do these have in them that our book can also have, and how do they lay it out so that the Tamrinor campaign setting has sort of a useful way of laying out all of these materials. So my first question, or what I've got is I've got a series of 5 questions that I feel we need to answer to put those answers in the book. I'm not saying these are going to be the only questions that come up as I translate book to notes to book, but these are the 5 that have come up thus far. One of them I've actually thought of and put some answers to it, but also want to discuss it with you. The first question, and the one that I've got some answers for, is we have currently said that it is the year 1673 in world. The question is, what event started the calendar count?
Ooh.
Because calendars work that way. You are counting from something. So I've got 2 options, and I'm open to it being something else entirely. But the 2 options I've got, one is 1673 years ago was the last time that the gods actively walked across the mortal plane, and then they left, they still influence the plane, but they are not themselves here anymore.
Okay.
My other suggestion for what the start of the calendar is would require us to bring the number down a bit, but also that's not a huge issue. But the exodus of the avians being driven out of their homelands and settling into Sunspire, seems like sort of an epoch-shifting event, and also the avians as sort of the law-keeping race feels like they would have some influence over the calendar.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Who primarily uses this calendar? And I don't mean like say everybody uses it. I mean like, is there a particular like race of that actually like actively use it? Like maybe different races have their own calendars. Who uses this particular calendar?
I mean, that is a fine question. I feel like if it's the avians, then the exodus of the avians is the obvious answer. I think somebody just set off a firework outside.
Hey.
Yay, singular firework. I really hope it was a singular firework or a car backfiring and not anything else that sounds like a loud, boomy thing. I mean, if we say that the calendar is primarily upkept by the avians, and most other people either have their own way of counting the years, or they just use the avians calendar because it's convenient. Having it marked from the Exodus to Sunspire makes a lot of sense.
So it's in terms of like major historical events, we've got several, haven't we? The two that spring to mind are the fall of Lortak, because we've got the city Lorfell.
Yes.
And it would be the start of the reign of King Casimir, would be the other one that springs to mind.
Those are two other good options.
So if not this calendar, they could be perhaps at the beginning of a calendar.
So the Exodus of the Avians, I've currently set that it's about a millennia ago. 1,000 years since they fled to Sunspire.
Okay.
King Casimir was around 600 years ago.
Okay.
The fall of Lortak was 150 years ago. I mean, I suppose actually, if we wanted, we could have it be around, like, the number be somewhere around 600 and it be the Alliance calendar.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense that everybody would have that as their numbering system. Because it's the Alliance. It's everybody working together, and it started at this specific time about 630 years ago. 634 years ago, based on this one roll of the percentile dice I just did. So, I mean, we could also say that the avians have a calendar that they use that is currently at 1,000-ish, based on the exodus of the avians. But that the Alliance and the most people in the world use the Alliance calendar. Cool. I'm going to make some notes of that so I don't forget it. I'm not sharing my notes at the moment because of reasons. I don't actually have any good reasons other than it would share all of the questions that I'm... So 634 alliance years. Calendar was started at the founding of the Alliance of Casimir. Okay. My next question. What... So, when we did the Foundations game, one of the things we came up with was there was a great plague that wiped out a large percentage of a number of towns and completely destroyed the town of Tor Point. We know that there is currently no cure for it, but that action can be taken to stop its spread. What is the plague called?
My mind immediately just goes to like various colors with the word death after them.
Violet rot.
Yeah. Why is it called violet rot, John?
You come out in violet splotches that smell like rotting flesh. It's not a pleasant disease, and then you die. And there's no cure. Or probably actually, it's like 60% of people survive, and a small percentage of people die from it. But it's still not a pleasant thing. I'm going to save the more difficult question for last. So we're going to go to... The capital city is called Lawfell. This is based on an event that happened 150 years ago. What was Lawfell called before Lortak fell? Because it was established a time ago. There was a capital city there when Casimir reigned 600 years ago.
So you want something really like Casimir in the title, don't you?
I don't know if we do, because I don't know if we want it to be... Like, do we want the place to be open to having been called that when Casimir ruled?
Oh no, you want it... Or you want it to be before... You want it to be before that.
I'm going to look... I got a list of...
I'm getting the word... I'm getting the word something seat in my mind.
Seat.
Something or somebody's seat. Yeah. Something or someone's seat.
So I've got a list of potential place names. I'll see if any of them work with Ravenstone Seat, the Whispering Seat, Moon Shadow Seat, Starlight Seat.
Maybe just Maybe just like Raven's Seat.
Raven seat. Raven seat or Raven's seat?
Raven's Seat.
Raven's seat. Is that named after a very old king before Casimir?
I think so, yeah. Or it could just be like the settlement's original name.
So I've put named for a very old king who reigned before Casimir came to power. Their deeds are lost to antiquity. So long ago, nobody can remember who he was or what happened. Question the fourth. Tamrinor is the name. Tamrinor is the name of the continent that this is all set on. What is the name of the planet? Or what do the people of Tamrinor call the planet?
Does that question need the answering?
I think it does. Because people would have a name for it.
So why?
Where are the Forgotten Realms? Where is Taldore set?
Faerun is a continent. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. I just know them by those. I just know them by those names. Well, I know that Forgotten Realms is Faerun, but I don't believe that's the name of the planet.
So Faerun is on the planet Toril or Abatoril. Taldore is on Exandria.
Now you say it, I remember, but I don't feel it's necessary for like the day-to-day folks to necessarily be aware of that.
It's not like we're not looking at the planet in terms of somebody else looking at it. We are looking at what do they call the planet. Because that's what Exandria is. That's
from
what
their point of view.
Toril is.
But from their point of view, they could quite literally just call it the world, and that would be sufficient for them.
I don't know if they would just call it the world. We can come back to that. I think we can come back to that one.
That's a I think that's a sticky one, because my personal opinion is it's not necessary for them to actually know what the name of their planet is in order to be able to function on it.
But they would also have named it because it is there. We have the name the Earth.
We come back to that one.
We
also have Earth as in soil, yeah.
I don't need to know that I'm on the planet Earth to function, but I do know that I'm on a planet that we call Earth, that we call Terra, that we call Sol 3, depending on how,
A probably not a relevant example, but in the very first Sherlock Holmes story, when Dr. Watson moves in with Sherlock Holmes, he is amazed that Sherlock Holmes has like zero astronomical knowledge at all. He's very he's very well like versed in like London and crime and psychology.
But no idea about the
And tries to tell him,
planets.
he says, "Oh, that's very interesting. I forget it as soon as possible." No idea about the planets. Yeah, and he says, "Oh, that's very interesting. I must forget it as soon as possible because it's not relevant to what I do."
So the final question
Mm-hmm.
Ismin. Ismin the
It's not that bad, surely.
Pathstrider. The Watcher, the Protector at the Crossroads, the Breach Guardian, the Tamer. That's all we've got about them. Who are they? What are they? Are they male or are they female? Are they, what type of god are they? Um,
Don't we have other gods who kind of overlapped with that?
we have a god called. Where's the Wanderer? We have Felkite the Wanderer, who is the god of adventure and travel and stories. But I think Ismin is more the god of protection on the road, the guard at the crossroads, the guard at the interstitials.
You know, the image that's coming to my mind now,
Yanis?
kind of like no Vimes from Discworld.
Oh, the Guardian.
Especially in Thud, where there's that whole where's that whole sequence where like he's created his own internal watchman to watch him.
So is this the god equivalent of Vimes the Watchman?
I think so, yeah. I'm getting that idea, yeah.
So when somebody on Tamrinor says who watches the Watchman, obviously the answer is Ismin.
Hmm. I think so. I think that sounds right.
I've put the notes down and I will translate it into the book form later, but the godly watchman
Hmm.
Sam Vimes wrought large.
Yeah. Complete with cigarette.
Cigarette and hole in the bottom of his boot so he can tell where he
Where
is.
he is. Yep.
Okay, so those are the elements
Right.
of the notes so far that I found lacking while translating into book form.
Just we can come back to the question about the name of the world. Do you know what the name of the world for the Dragon Age setting is?
Thetis. No,
You know why? Do you know why it's called that?
I do not know.
The Dragon Age setting.
Excellent. I love it. Trying to work out if we can get an FBF hidden in the name of the world now. We'll come to that.
Yeah.
God damn it, Spotify. Um, Okay, so those are the questions that I have based on transliterating the notes or translating the notes into a book form for the moment.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, I've done some amount of it, and I'll come back and if further questions arise, we'll bring this back as a bit in future sessions. One thing that has cropped up actually in terms of playtesting issues, which is great because we haven't even done the playtest yet, and I've got a playtest issue that we need to resolve.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow night we're doing the playtest. Tonight I have a query
come up now.
related to the playtest.
Okay.
Dwarves.
Yes.
Dwarves get the Stone Legacy ability, which we suggested allowed them to cast Granite Skin on themselves once per long rest after they hit 3rd level. Granite Skin was going to be a retweaked version of Bark Skin.
Yep.
The spell doesn't require concentration, but can only target the dwarf themselves.
Yes.
Now, Bark Skin, because I was looking this up as I was talking to Robin earlier, because Robin tomorrow is going to be playing our Dwarven Paladin. Bark Skin sets your armor class to 16 unless your armor class would have been higher. Now, obviously, Bark Skin is also designed to be a spell that spellcasters get, druids and rangers, and not the heavily armored classes that would naturally have a higher armor class than 16.
Okay.
So my question is, do we tweak it in some way so that it makes your armor class 16 unless it would be higher, and if it is higher than 16, it gives you some buff?
How about we look at it another direction? Rather than increasing AC, because as you say, a lot of dwarves would probably have a higher AC anyway. What about making like the barbarian's rage ability and adding in resistance to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing?
That is not a bad shout. So it's a spell that... Do we put the concentration requirement back on it? So you still need to concentrate on it. No?
No, we can have it last for a set amount of time, like say a minute.
Yeah.
So you still got to choose when you use it, but I think still having it as a once per long rest, or even once per short rest. When barbarians get their charges back on long rest, don't they?
They do at the moment, yes.
But they can have multiple in between that. So, but we don't want this to be equivalent of rage, because we obviously want rage to be better, because otherwise why would you choose a barbarian? I think having it once per long rest, it lasts for a minute and it gives you resistance to bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing attacks, but it doesn't come with a barbarian limitation of you have to be hit or hit something.
And it also doesn't come with any bonuses to your hits, which obviously the barbarian does get.
Doesn't need to be concentrated. You don't need concentration on it, no.
Yeah. But also, You don't get any bonus to the damage you deal to other people because obviously that's part of why you pick to be a barbarian.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
also you also get better at hitting things. You get better at taking hits, and you get better at dealing damage.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I
So
can work
there
with
is still
that.
value in choosing a barbarian, but yeah, yeah.
The
So there is still
barbarian
value in choosing a barbarian. Yeah.
the barbarian dwarves are less likely to take the to make use of the facility unless they run out of rages. But I
Yeah,
think that's fine.
it's a useful oh heck I'm out of rages. I've got this emergency thing to pop off.
Um, cool,
Come to think of it,
cool.
isn't that what Blade Ward does anyway? Because I remember he threw that around at one point.
Ah, that is a point. Yeah, Blade Ward does do that, and they get that at first level.
But then non-spellcasters could also make use of this. So I think there's still value in it.
Well, Blade Ward they get at first level, but it only lasts a round. This turns that into a minute long.
It only lasts a round. Yeah. And it doesn't use up a cantrip slot.
Well, it wouldn't use up a cantrip. You like having it as a racial feature doesn't use up a cantrip. Okay, well, we'll see how that goes tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Let us continue tonight's session though, because I'd like to start setting up some more details into our towns. We've got a number of towns. A few sessions back, Ben and I did a deep look at rock bottom on the assumption that I would set the one shot that we're running tomorrow in or around rock bottom.
Mm.
And so we set a number of places and people to interact with. Primarily the tavern and the inn of each of rock bottom and the keeper of both of those places. I would like us to have a quick look at the other towns of Tamrinor and start setting the names of the taverns of those places, and possibly also look at the general store, and the owner thereof.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start. I'm gonna bring us over to actually see the notes at this point. Let's start with Cogersmoot, which is the dwarven. Sorry, not the dwarven. The goblin hometown.
Okay.
So the goblins in this setting are the tinkerers. They are. They have been listed in this, and I feel the need to highlight it again. They are work hard, play hard. So I feel that they need possibly more than one tavern in the town. Would be my feelings. Possibly two.
Okay.
I've got a list of some potential tavern names, some of which I pulled from a couple of Instagram things that I follow, a couple of which we already had and need to place in the world somewhere. So for Cogismoot, the Gilded Griffin, the Enchanted Elk, the Silver Serpent, the Dancing Dryad, the Howling Hydra. This lent very heavily on alliteration at the start of the list. I won't lie. The Dragon's Flagon, the Frothy Phoenix, the Prancing Pegasus, the Whispering Willow, the Homely Hearth. Any of those strike you as Goblin Party Town?
Don't really. They don't. Well, they don't say tinkerers to me. The first name I've just come up with for that is the Rusty Cog.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
And
a heading here of buildings.
The second one, I'm thinking the.
And the second one, you're thinking. Geoff?
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay, cool.
I'm thinking.
Just gonna hide that and.
I'm trying to think of the second one. I think it'd be funny to actually have it named after an accident that happened to it. Like something blew up in there. And that's what they called it. That's because they took the name from that. But I'm trying to think. The Blackened, and I'm trying to think of a name. Or the Scorched something, or Blackened.
The Scorched.
Well, the Blackened Bough. And it is just literally like a piece of wood that's just like been burnt almost to a crisp.
The sign is made from a burnt lump of wood that at one point had been the workstation / bench of a nearby alchemist.
I'm trying to actually imagine what
the roof.
I'm trying to imagine what basically a town full of snickets would happen.
I mean, yes, you are not wrong. Okay, so we've got the rusty cog, we've got the blackened bough. What are some of the details of these places? Of the internals are.
I think the rusty cog would have lots of gadgets or inventions in there, like they could be pioneering automatic drink dispensers. Maybe like little motorized gadgets that take your order to the kitchen. I guess I think it's the one where the inventors like tried to apply their inventions.
I like it. I'm seeing the proprietor is a goblin with like an exosuit. Because I want to get in basically the idea that I had for um, a artificer who is basically Iron Man esque in that it's an artificer with wheelchair requirements until third level when he can make a suit of armor. So I'm thinking this is going to
Also, you could
be.
have like. Oh, you're cutting a bit.
I think this is going to be the.
Or we've got this image as well of like the bartender being like essentially like an alchemist himself. So he got like a monocle that clacks over his eye. He's got tools and arms like coming from a harness that like measure things out with absolute precision. And if you come in asking for something simple like a glass of water, he just like looks at you with absolute disdain.
I like it. I'm getting a lot of cutting out from you as well. I'm wondering if I need to restart the computer real quick.
Ooh, this yes.
Um,
Yeah, because I'm still on the. I can still see myself on the Twitch stream on the Twitch camera thingy. Okay, so I don't know if it's my end. It could be my end. That's absolutely.
I mean, do you want to just drop out of
That is a
Discord and we'll
thingy.
switch over exclusively to
Try.
Twitch and see if that works a bit better.
We
I'll
can try
unmute.
that.
I'll unmute on guest star. Hello, can you hear me still?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, can you hear me? Have you unmuted me? Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yep, that was a
That was the problem.
That was it. Yep.
Okay, well, is an alchemist with a monocle that clicks over his eye and an exosuit that helps him to walk. If people order simple drinks, he serves them with a look of disdain. Where's my list of potential names for people? Do I have any that sound dwarven? Sorry, not dwarven, goblin-esque. I mean, I like giving him the surname Nightshade for reasons of
Yep.
having a barkeeper by the name of Nightshade sounds funny. Lycorus Nightshade.
Okay. Yep.
The bartender, Lycoris Nightshade Goblin, is an alchemist with a monocle that clicks over his eye as he mixes drinks, and an exosuit that helps him to walk. Along with an arm-mounted beverage cannon. I'm just picturing him like got the little funnel at the end of the arm that just pours out the soft drinks or the beer tap on the arm. Or it's kind of like the little Gatling gun where it's got lots of nozzles that go to it.
Oh yeah.
Who are we thinking is the proprietor of the Blackened Bow?
Ooh,
do you think they are they slightly more cautious because of the time that the alchemist shop a few doors down exploded and they suddenly got gifted a new sign?
I think so, yes.
A slightly twitchy and nervous. Are they not a goblin? Because in the city of the goblins, the not goblin might be a little bit unsure of his surroundings. In the city of Snickets,
yes,
this person's sudden nervous disposition becomes a problem.
I think we make it a halfling then.
Slightly twitchy and nervous halfling called ... is worried by all of the explosions and fires and other related tinkerer mishaps.
So then why wouldn't he leave?
He's married
to a goblin.
To a goblin. He's married to the alchemist whose shop exploded nearby. Which is why he's now got the workbench as a sign. He keeps complaining that he would like to settle somewhere quieter, but is truly in love with his partner, who works in a nearby alchemist's shop. Looking at my names list again, trying to see any that sound halflingy. Thorn?
Seems a bit sharp.
Arian? Arian Silverleaf?
Well, I like it, yeah. Yeah.
Leaf. What is his partner called? I'm going to let you name this one. Female goblin name.
Female goblin names.
Maybe male goblin names.
Do they look too closely?
Oh.
Something short, something snappy. Cotty. Cottie. Cotty.
Cotty, Silverleaf. The name just sprang to my mind, but the general store is called the Coggers Collections. The Coggers Collection or Coggers Collection?
Coggers Collections.
Or the Coggers Collection?
Yeah.
Coggers Collection. The Coggers Collection is the general store in town and is a mess. You can always sell any junk here, and eventually it will be turned into some form of invention by someone. Okay, let's go down the list. Cragcliff. Cragcliff is an old town on the northwest coastline of Tamrinor. It's a dock town at the top of a cliff that uses statues to hoist the ships up to it. I feel that we need... The name of the tavern should either have something to do with chain gang or winch or
high, just like something high above, high.
Height, yeah.
The upper winch, and then you got the lower winch, or the upper chain.
The upper chain. Or the raising winch?
Mm-hmm. The raised winch.
Raised winch. Oh, no, don't select everything. No, don't do that either. Stop pressing buttons, me. There we go. Is this sort of the dock workers' tavern, effectively? Rough and ready, working man's tavern.
Yeah.
Rough and ready establishment with potentially cutthroat clientele. I feel the proprietor is a muscular human or orc.
Muscular female orc, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Got the name Larina in my head.
I like it. I also apparently can't spell proprietress.
Just need to make sure what the Sea of Thieves character is. Oh, that's the name of the Lorena. Sea of Thieves has a Lorena. Do we care about that?
How do they spell it?
They spell it Alarinna.
L. Sorry, how do they spell it? L.
Larinna is how they spell it. We could tweak it slightly and say Lorena. Larina.
How about Lorynna?
Okay.
Lorena.
Okay. Yep.
Also, I need to remember to put all of the words in the thing before the bit where we say her name. The owner is a muscular and scarred female orc called Lorena, who allows certain activities until they threaten the bar or the property of the bar. I think we need a slightly more upper class establishment within Cragcliff as well. And the thought that springs to mind is having a place called the Mermaid's Purse.
Okay, yeah.
Mostly because I like the idea of calling it the Mermaid's Purse, and slightly because that's the name of shark egg pouches.
Okay. This is for sailors.
This is, I mean, I think that this is like the nicer place. This is like the raised winch is where most of the crew would go. The Mermaid's Purse is where like the captain and the nobility in the ships would go for like a quiet drink. And probably also where people might like it's the inn as well, so it's where people would go for a night to stay, so it's not as noisy, it's not the rowdy bar, it's the quiet, everybody has conversation in the common room, and there are bedrooms. What's like the name for the captain and the
in
like the like nobility but for a ship?
Ooh.
Is there a name for like the officers? Thank you, Brian.
I love the way I love that your thought process works there. What's nobility? Upper class people, but on a ship.
You know, the people that are in charge of the ship, the captain and all of the other things that they have. The God, my brain today. Acquired talent. There is a quiet common room where people can drink and converse, and a number of bedrooms where travelers can stay for the night without fear of losing their valuables. Are we going to go with an elf owner, or do we want to go with something a little bit more
Ooh,
unique?
Do we have any? do we have any like seafaring or sea dwelling native races? I think we do. Do we?
We don't have any specifically seafaring races. Yeah, we don't have any aquatic races at the moment.
Because the equivalent I was thinking of from Forgotten Realms could be like a Naga or a Triton.
We'll come back to this. We'll circle back to this when we discuss with the others if, like, what is an aquatic race? Owned by a member of an aquatic race? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I want to throw in that one of the taverns somewhere is run by someone who is secretly Antari touched.
Okay, I like that.
Because I like the idea that someone somewhere, like, we've currently got one Antari touched in Rock Bottom, where it's an Antari touched and a tiefling who have a gallery and studio together, and they inspire each other's artwork. And so, yeah, I think we should have another Antari touch somewhere who doesn't tell anyone that they are Antari touched.
Doesn't necessarily know if they are?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, might not even know that they themselves are Antari touched, but they have, like, stupidly perfect blonde hair and, like, slight sparkles when it's particularly sunny out.
That could be like a story hook, actually, for a town like we were talking about before.
Yes, that is very true. So the halfling town, Honeyvale, which I've just gone through and renamed in the note section as well, because I hadn't done that yet.
Petra, welcome to Honeyvale.
We are not having Greg the farmer.
Greg the garlic farmer.
I don't know if it's picking it up on the microphone at all, but I can definitely hear the Sunset Sessions event still happening in the park at the moment. I thought it was supposed to finish at 9. Oh. Turns out no. They're still going.
There's a suggestion. Suggestion. That was
suggested they would finish at 9. Okay, so Honeyvale is the cozy halfling area. So I feel that any establishments here are run by halflings. They are nice, cozy establishments.
Yes.
Yep. I think
very nice, very homely. Run by rather large, well-fed matrons and patrons.
What about having the Dragon's Flagon?
I like it. That's a good place for it. That's a good place for that name.
What's the name of the matron of the bar?
Ooh. Merry, happy, joy.
Rosalind?
Rosalind. That's different than what I was thinking. Rosalind Brambleshine. Rosalind Brambleshine.
A rotund and constantly cheerful halfling and her 3 sons and 2 daughters, who we will come up with names for later. Do we need anywhere else for the Honey Vale?
Would they have like a shop, or would it be more like a farmer's, or would each farm or each person sell their own produce?
Maybe they have a market.
Market's a good idea, actually. Yeah, I like that.
So it's the Honey Vale Market.
Yeah.
Honeymail Farmers Market. Farmers Market. Farmers Market. It's a farmers market now.
There's no hope of recovering that one. When you started with Honeymail, there was absolutely no hope of recovering that.
Yep, the Honeymail Farmers Market. We'll call it that now. Oh, God. Just kill the stream now. We're killing it now. It's done. We're done. It's over.
Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please do
close down FBF. It's done. That's the end. Is run once a week, twice a week.
I want to say once every 2 weeks.
Is run once every 2 weeks.
And it's literally like a massive event. It's like the key event in their calendars. It's not just like for selling. It's like when they all get together and all the little settlements round about come together as well. Half market, half party, half festival. They say they're going to finish by 9 o'clock, but they carry on afterwards.
I can imagine what we're referencing there.
Lots of music, banjos, ukuleles, panpipes.
There is a suggested ending time, but it often continues late into the night and is sometimes still going the next morning. Where the halflings enjoy a hearty breakfast. Okay. Next up is Lawfell.
Okay. Lots of names of like royal or monarch or something in them. Casimir has to be at least one of them has to reference Casimir at least.
So there are 2 names of taverns that we need to include in places in in Tamrinor. I don't think one of them is in Lawfell, but the other might be. One of them is the Kobold's Head.
Not Lawfell.
That's not Lawfell.
Doesn't say Lawfell. That's one of the outlying towns, I think.
Yeah, that is a smaller settlement. That might not even be a settlement we've placed on the map just yet.
Could that just be like a roadside tavern?
I feel that it probably is. It's somewhere that's like a stopping point between places.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the other ideas that I have got noted down in the notes to expand section is something that I saw in a Facebook post recently, and I like the idea of adding the Sunfawn coffee establishment to a number of towns as a recently opening experience.
Oh, a franchise, yes.
Have you seen the post that this came from?
I haven't. No.
So somebody basically posted that they had a game that split over 3 different continents. And on the first continent, this establishment was opening everywhere called something like the Moondoe Coffee Shop. And then they went to the second continent, and the same establishment was opening under the name of the Sunfawn Coffee. The same sort of logo, the same sort of experience, but a different name. Until they went to the third continent, where the boot finally fell, and they realized it was the Starbucks coffee.
What was the name of it again? Sorry.
So the first one was Moondoe, DOE.
Oh, I see. Yep.
And then it was the Sunfawn, FAWN. And then the third one was Starbucks.
Starbucks, yes. That's brilliant.
I do enjoy that. The other tavern that we need to include one somewhere, and again, I don't know if one of them is Lawfell. The Bumbling Monk.
That doesn't scream Lawfell to me either. That could be a starter town.
Yeah, that. Again, I know that those are both taverns that appear in Tamrinor somewhere. We need to include them at some point.
Bumbling Monk is very much you all meet in a tavern. Has that sort of vibe on it.
It is that tavern that you all meet in.
Yes. Wherever you are, the tavern you meet in is just called the Bumbling Monk.
Yeah. Lawfell. I mean, I want to say Raven's Crown.
I like it.
Or Casimir's Crown. But if we call it Casimir's Crown, the sign outside has a raven with a crown on.
I think that's good because then it hits both the original name of the settlement and the fact that it's now the capital city.
I don't want to put the Antari Touched here because I want the plot hooks for Lawfell to be other things. I feel that the Antari Touched is somewhere else.
Could that even be Cragcliff or, well, not Cragcliff, or Rocky Bottom or something?
Potentially. Potentially. Um, so the Casimir's Crown, elven bartender, avian bartender.
I think we need to give the. I think this time we brought the elf bartender in. I think.
Um, so I'm going to go with a non-binary elven bartender called. I need Ben here with his elven names. Hang on a second. I'm gonna look up an elven name on my phone so that I don't use up bandwidth on the computer.
Sylari, Syllari for a first name.
I like it. Syl.
Ari.
Sylari.
And if you want to really elf it up, you could put an apostrophe between the Y and the L, or between the L and the A, or both.
Just put an apostrophe wherever, really.
Yeah.
Sylari Moonshadow.
Yeah, that's the one.
Who politely but firmly corrects anyone who misgenders them.
Is that before they hit them with the spiked club and chuck them out?
That's not politely doing it. That's if they repeatedly do it. Okay, Casimir's Crown doesn't scream cozy. It screams upper market, maybe 2 stories. Wood panelled.
5-star is the one that all the rich people go to, and Sylari charges appropriate prices for it.
Yeah, definitely spelled appropriately right. Okay, the other thing I want to name while we're here in Unity, in Lawfell, the Unity Cathedral. To remind you, the Unity Cathedral is a place of worship for all members of the Pantheon, with stained glass windows for each of the gods and goddesses, placed so that each member of the Pantheon is shared with equal time in the light. I feel like they have a cleric there for each of them.
Yep.
But I feel that there is probably a head cleric that oversees everything and is generally in charge.
Could that be like a position that changes over time, or through election, or through something else?
I feel that it's an elected position.
It's the Pope, basically, isn't it? Like the Pope.
It's like the Pope. Yeah, I feel that in a way it's like the Pope in that you don't lose it, you don't have a term of doing it, you are it until you die, and then they pick another one. It doesn't necessarily matter which of the gods you are a follower of, but your role as this person is to be the unified leader of everybody at the church.
Whichever cleric gets picked, they have to then bring in a new cleric to take over that position, because the,
yes,
for want of a better word, Pope cleric can't be seen to favor his own over anybody else's.
Correct.
I also think this is probably the biggest building and grandest building in the whole city.
There's also the castle, which is in the city. It's amongst several very large and opulent buildings. It is one of the largest and most opulent in the city. Who is the current unified cleric?
Oh boy. You know what? How many gods do we have in here?
We have. That is a fine question. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Where's Bear?
Ben with the oddly shaped dice, yes.
No, Sean has a D13. We got Sean a D13 / Sean bought himself a D13 from UK Games Expo.
Okay.
Although, to be fair, actually, 1 second, let me recount that, because I think there's 11, because there's 2 gods that aren't really worshipped anymore.
Okay.
Because Nephili and Evanora were evicted from godness.
Well, that's a D12 then. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just counting down your list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I count 14 on there. So it's so if you lose.
So it's the ones that we're missing are Evanora, Nephili, and the Lost Light.
Interesting. Okay.
Because the Lost Light is not generally known and is missing.
Nephili, Evanora, and the Lost Light. Okay. D12 coming up. This is a brand new D12, which I only just discovered. I got it from Meeple Perk a while back, and I only just discovered the unopened package which contained it. 4. Number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Deimos, Holder of the Void.
Okay, that's the current. That's the
former allegiance of the current unified cleric.
Yes.
So
dwarf, maybe?
Dwarf?
Make him a dwarf? Dwarf? Some wildly inappropriate name for that.
Thunk?
Thunk.
The dwarf naming system that we came up with is that their first name is onomatopoeic.
Yes.
And their surname is a clan name. So their surname is a hewn name describing the location of the carving or the materials from which they are carved. So Thunk Marble Hewn.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Thunk Marble Hewn, head cleric or unified cleric of the Unity Cathedral, former worshipper of Deimos, the Holder of the Void.
I like it.
I also like that the name of the Unity Cathedral head is the Unified Cleric. I enjoy that name. Boink. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Everything is cool.
Everything is cool and groovy. I'm slightly wondering, as the unified cleric of the Unity Cathedral in Lawfell, does Thunk, which is going to be fun to say every time, I'm sure, does Thunk have access to an artifact? Do we think? In the way that, say, the Black Staff of
it's a symbol of office, isn't it?
do they have a magical symbol of office? Because my thought is Mira had a staff that she wielded 150 years prior to the events of the current day. Does Thunk have that staff?
Yes. I would think so. Yes.
Which I know has a name. Suntide.
That'll do. That's a good one. I like the idea that means that Mira's become some sort of religious figure now.
Well, Mira is one of the first Antari touched. So I feel that she would have, even if she didn't herself in her lifetime gain a religious following, there would be some, like, she is the first of this angelic race, or an angelic adjacent race. There's going to be some amount of bestowing upon her.
Could we throw in the story? Could we throw in the? I think this theme has been used in several places before. That she didn't want it. She didn't want to be herself to be seen as divine at all. She didn't want this following, but it grew around her, and especially after her death, it kind of went more and more and more.
I feel that's fair because she was also a mage. She wasn't divinely magic. She was an arcanist, a mage, a wielder of magic, but not the right flavor for the divine following that grew up around her. I won't note that here because that will take a little while to note down, but I will. Actually, I will just make a quick note. She has a divine following which she didn't want and didn't ask for, but none less grew following her demise. As the first known member of the Antari touched race, she has a divine following that she didn't want, didn't ask for, nonetheless grew following her demise. That is that point done. After Lawfell, we get to Emtaradim, where we find another question that's to do with naming things. So let's name a thing.
Okay.
Emtaradim is a fortress built in the western section of Erium the Desert, formerly of a nomadic group of warriors, mainly made up of wild ones. Now Emtaradim is a thriving trade town. The fortress at its heart has mostly fallen into disrepair. What is the wild one name? What is the name of the wild one who was the leader to first settle Emtaradim?
I've got the name Clack in my head. K-L-A-K.
Clack.
K-L-A-K.
I like it. Clack was the first leader to settle and ordered the building of the fortress. Okay, so Emtaradim is in the desert. What are we thinking in terms of a tavern name?
I think it's tavern, combined tavern and inn. And this is a mainly wild one settlement, you say?
Originally it was. They're probably still in the majority.
I think either a grove or an oasis is the name. I want it to be like should be like a simple name, shouldn't it?
The Sand Shroud Oasis.
That's simple enough for me. Yep.
Would help if I could apparently remember to spell Sand Shroud Oasis. There we go. Is the combined tavern and inn. I mean, it's going to be run by a wild one.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a somewhat rowdy crowd.
It is, yeah.
But I mean, sorry, I'm getting an echo. Where am I getting an echo from? Are you getting an echo? Can you hear?
I'm not getting an echo. I don't know.
Why am I getting an echo? Sorry, that sounds familiar. Now I'm hearing Robin.
Oops, sorry.
I feel that's you, that is.
That shouldn't be coming through my microphone. That's
weird.
Okay. That's very odd.
Was that a YouTube video or something you're watching, or an old?
No, I think that was something else. Something I was doing quickly. That's weird. That shouldn't come.
Why is that coming through?
Why is that coming through my microphone?
Why is that an option?
Why is that a thing?
Well,
what is going on? All these questions and more.
None of these questions will be answered because we don't know what the answers are. No, that does remind me though, because we've moved away from Discord, I can start playing the lo-fi music again.
Yay! Discord is
Discord
being a thing.
Discord has started doing a thing where if you play Discord, if you have Discord open and are in a call and you're playing a Spotify playlist, it goes, well, you can't play Spotify and be in a Discord call at the same time. Why would that be a thing you want to do?
Once again, I would like to find a way to use Zoom with OBS because I think that'd be very beneficial.
Somewhat rowdy crowd, but who respect the tavern
owner
because of the expense of replacing things and the surly wild one owner rhino or elephant?
Rhino.
Also, are like wild ones, they do get like what, like, are there wild one rhinos and elephants? I feel that there are. I don't see any reason why there wouldn't be. What is this owner called?
Ruck. R-U-C-K. Ruck.
The surly wild one owner Ruck, who is part rhino. Still singing out there. Still going. Ah, no, that's not the bar. That's not the main thing going. That's somebody that's walking home and is still singing loudly and drunkenly.
Oh boy, I just had a thought.
What's that?
Tomorrow evening you could have some backing vocals to your stream. England final.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a thing.
Anyway.
Oh.
That's a problem for future, John.
Sorry, the people outside who are having a very merry evening, we'll put it that way, are living on a prayer at the moment. I don't know if that means...
Are they halfway there?
I'm unsure if they are actually halfway to where they're going or not, but they are indeed living on a prayer. Next up, if we're going to keep going alphabetically, I feel that we can do 2 or 3 more. We have North Haven. For North Haven was formerly a large port and trade hub for the west of Tamrinor until the appearance of Staros as a den of piracy and smuggling. The town is now just a fishing village, and the trade hub has moved to South Haven.
Would this be a good place for the bumbling monk?
I think this could work. I feel that could work. And I definitely didn't nearly call it the mumbling bunk.
I can go as the honey male farmers market.
Owned by a former monk, the bumbling monk is a cozy establishment where drinks flow readily and hearty food is always available. The owner is a half-elf.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that they have a halfling cook.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Caliph Stormrider.
For the half-elf.
For the half-elf. Yes, he was a member of a Monsattery. He employs he employs what's a halfling name?
Oh, more flowery sort of names. Can I have a female halfling for this one?
I think a female halfling. Lily.
Lily, that's a good one.
Lily. Lily Applepip. A young halfling female as a cook. I don't think we need to say anything more about the matter at the moment. I think that's enough detail.
I think that's perfectly there, yeah.
Rock Bottom we've already done, so next up is Sanctuary Springs.
What does that remind me
of? So Sanctuary Springs is in the desert as well.
Mm-hmm.
It is on the bank of an oasis.
Yep.
I'm just going through and deleting some of the details that I wrote a while back that are no longer relevant to this because we've added another civilized area of the desert. So it's going to be a sandstone building. I'm wondering if we give it a unique race as the bartender, what if it's a Lacerta, who are the lizard folk?
Oh, I like it. That's an interesting one.
Because it makes sense for them to be in the desert. What do we call it?
The tavern, is this the tavern we're looking at?
Yeah, what do we call the tavern? We either go with a lizard reference.
I was thinking lizard reference, actually. Let's look at some types of lizards, shall we? Assuming that they have the same types.
Bearded dragons. Chameleon.
Iguanas, chameleons, reptile. The Tachydromides. There we go. That's your name, right?
Might be a little bit of a tongue twister.
Gecko. What about something about a gecko?
The gilded gecko?
Gilded gecko. Even better, yep.
So it is a small sandstone building with a large basement common room, which keeps it out of the heat of the sun. The tavern is owned by a large Lacerta.
You want something with lots of S's in the name.
Sariska.
With double S's. Every S is a double S.
Sariska. A large male Lacerta. Who ensures that everyone has access to as much libations as can be made available. Cool. Next on the list is Sirens Harbour, which is the small settlement at the foot of the Sirens Academy, the magical center of knowledge and trading within training within Tamrinor. So it's a university town, basically.
Yes, I remember this. Yes,
it's gonna have a tavern. It's probably something like the Wizard's Staff or the Pointy Hat. Let's call it the Wizard's Staff, because I like that, and that can also be a reference to the
Yes.
The Discworld drinking song that you know I'm referencing.
Oh, yes. I know the one you mean.
Is the main drinking hole of the students of the academy, as well as several the teachers, lecturers, maybe the one in recent runes.
Oh, what was the one that I like that when in the later books they introduced the I can't remember I can't remember what the exact name was, but it's like a reader of modern magic, and it was Ponder Stibbons. And he spent most of his job trying to figure out what his job actually was, if I remember rightly.
That sounds familiar. I don't know what my phone is doing, but it was doing something. He was Ponder Stibbons was variously employed as the head of inadvisably applied magic, Praelector, and the reader in invisible writings.
That was it.
He does most of his work in collaboration with students at the university's high energy magic building.
I need to reread those books. There's some fantastic stuff there. The computer hex that at one point, due to events, refused to work without the FTB attachment.
Yes. His first appearance is as a student wizard in Moving Pictures. His roommate was Victor Tugglebend, who gained a regular income by always getting an exam score of between 80 and 88%. The senior wizards decided to trap Victor and give him an exam paper with only one question: what is your name? Victor, however, missed that particular exam, and Ponder, having accidentally destroyed his own exam paper, used Victor's instead. He was surprised to find only one question and tried to take as long as possible answering it. The answer to question 1 is Ponder Stibbons, which is what my name is.
Underlined several times.
Yes. Sorry, I could just keep reading the wiki articles on Discworld characters.
Right, hear me out. I've got a new idea for a Final Boss Fight live stream. We actually start reading Toprat's Discord books.
I say we get Amy and Ben to voice the characters. Sean can voice some as well. I'll read the bits that aren't characters speaking.
I'll do the footnotes.
Have you listened to any of the recent tangenting? We're gonna tangent for a moment.
We're gonna go this way for a bit, yeah.
Have you listened to any of the recent? Yeah, have you listened to any of them at all?
I haven't. No.
I listened to music. The music one, music with rocks in it. Soul music.
Soul music.
It's very good. And I've just found out that they are all available on Spotify Premium.
Oh, wow.
So I might be listening to some more Discworld books soon. So the wizard's staff is the main drinking hole of the students of the academy, as well as several of the lecturers. It is a floor tavern with a dance floor on the 3rd floor? Yeah.
Could we take a leaf out of Toe practice book and have some sort of magical leakage? So it's a 3-floor tavern with a dance floor on the 5th floor.
Yeah.
Nobody quite knows how this works. Even the wizards don't know how this works.
No one understands how this works, but equally no one is questioning it too hard. I feel like this is like the establishment's owner is someone who went to the academy but didn't quite graduate.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Human. The owner is a female. Is a human female who attended the academy but failed to graduate. And their name is...
Let's get like a exotic sounding name in there. Francesco di Novato, Novato. Francesco di Novato.
Are we still going? Is there more name to come?
I'm thinking. I don't want to use my usual. I don't want to use my usual go-to for this. Francesco di Novato. Ritolo. Ritollo. There we go. Ritollo.
Francesco di Novato Ritolo.
And it's D as in D-I. Not necessarily just like D-I. Francesco di Novato Ritolo. Oh, human female. Francesca di Novato Ritola. There we go. Change all the... Francesca. I didn't spot the human female parts. Francesca di Novato Ritola.
Oh, Ritola.
Ritola.
Novato still.
Yes, we'll keep that one, yeah.
Francesca di Novato Ritola. Human female who attended the academy but failed to generate.
You're gonna have fun with that day when she comes up, aren't you?
Oh, definitely. Her accent is going to be amazing and flawless. And definitely not offensive to the entirety of Europe. Or several large portions of it at the very least.
Well, is there anybody we haven't offended yet in our streams like this?
With my accents, I mean, the people in a very narrow radius around London, I think, I can get away with that one. I like to think I do a reasonable Irish, but I mean, that's probably just my head telling me that I do, because I don't think there's anywhere else in Siren's Harbour. I do also like the idea that the dance floor on the 5th floor is like a really elaborate ballroom. Like it's domed ceiling, it's like almost like the ceiling is patterned by the stars. Like it's all out. It's an amazing place for dancing. Very elaborate, very nice, and probably is partially due to the leakage of the fact that the tower is immense and spirals out of control.
Yeah.
And as we say here, makes no sense in the laws of physics. So why should anything nearby also make sense in the laws of physics? And nobody questions what's the fact there isn't a fourth floor. Next up on the list, I'm probably going to say is probably the last one that we'll get to tonight, and we'll carry this on later, is South Haven.
Okay.
So South Haven is the main trade hub, allowing people to bring items and shipping into Tamrinor while remaining a safe distance away from the pirates of Staros and the industry of Vectis Haven. It's on the western coastline where most of the things of a civilized nature are. I mean, this could be the place that has the Antari-touched barmaid.
I think so, yeah.
Looking over at my list of names, none of them are particularly... Actually, the Homely Hearth.
Ooh.
I like that name.
Let's have that one, yeah.
That works quite well for like a port town. Like we've got home. It's the cozy inn. It's a nice place to visit. It's a comfortable inn near the docks that sailors can flock to when their ships dock to get some fresh, home-cooked meals and reasonably priced drinks. Is she the owner, or does she just is she a employee? I feel she might be an employee.
Really? Okay. Yeah,
I feel like she's like the waitress, the barmaid, not the owner of the establishment.
So who's the owner? Probably a swarthy ex-pirate.
Swarthy ex-pirate. Wild one?
Wild one? Why not?
The tavern, the inn is owned by a swarthy ex-pirate wolfen wild one called Maylor.
Okay, yep.
Maylor Brightblade.
I like it.
Most of the sailors make small talk with the barmaid stroke waitress Nissa Dawnbreaker, who is secretly and unknown even to herself and Antari touched. This primarily manifests as her always perfect golden blonde hair and a slight shimmer in the brightest sunlight. Anything else? I think that's
good. I think that's good. That's good.
Okay, so we got about halfway down the list, over halfway down the list. So I think we can come back to this next time and answer some more of these. And this will go a long way to putting some more bits into the book, and I might even have some more questions from book writing by the next time we get here, as well as some notes from play testing it tomorrow.
That's going to be a good test, actually, isn't it?
Well, I've specifically generated the characters with people to ensure that we have an avian, an elf, a dwarf, and a wild one. So we've got specifically the 4 races that we have very much made homebrewed tweaks to see how that plays out. So yeah, I am looking forward to that. I'm intrigued to see how it goes. I should also go through at some point and check over the list of NPC names that I wrote out this morning and delete all the fragments of names that we've actually used tonight, so that we don't reuse any. But I feel that is a thing I can do at another point in time. Because now I have to say the things that we say at the end of a stream, which is thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please do hit that follow button. It's a great way for you guys to know when we go live, and a completely free way that you can support us on the channel. It really, really does mean a lot to us. We have a YouTube channel that you can go to catch all of the previous videos, including all of our previous Council of Tamrinor sessions are currently going up still, where we've been building this world up. We also have a Discord you can join to chat with us about the games that we're playing and the things that we're doing. And we have a website, www.finalbossfight.co.uk, where you can go to catch all of our written content, all of our audio content, photos, videos. Links to the Discord and the YouTube channel are found on the website as well, so you can more easily find those from finalbossfight.co.uk. Let's have a look at the streams that are coming up this week. Tomorrow night, as we've previously alluded to, myself, the Angel Games player, One Winged Angel, Pendragon Nomad, and the Rogue Trader Enthusiast are gathering to play the very first game set within Tamrinor. We are going to be playing a game that I've titled from the well, I haven't actually changed the name from the book that I took it from. We are playing Burnock Mill, where the group is going to investigate a group of bandits who have been taxing users of a road near Rock Bottom, and have been operating out of Burnock Mill. Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday next week, the Engine Games player is playing the Engine Games player roulette, where they are very close to finishing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, assuming they can beat the boss they are currently fighting. On Monday, I will be playing some Dragon Age Inquisition, where we are now actually in an Inquisition. So, nobody saw that coming.
Not like it's in the name of the thing or something.
No, I mean, I didn't expect it at all. We're going to actually start inquisiting, I guess.
Inquiring, that would be, I think.
Inquesting.
Inquesting.
We're going to go in and do some quests.
Whereabouts are you? Are you still?
Literally haven't left the hub area yet.
So you're in Haven. Then?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm about to set off on the first thing that they ask you to do, which is to go and find a holy woman. On Wednesday, FBF Craft V3, we should, by this point, have an awful lot of animals being farmed with the animal farm we set up last time. And so we're going to move over to the obvious next thing to do after you set up an animal farm, which is to start to set up a fusion reactor. Or fission reactor, technically. You know, it goes from agriculture to nuclear reactions.
The path of logic is perfectly sound there.
Yeah. We also need to set up, probably in Wednesday's episode, we need to set up a pair of laser drills so that we get ready and frequently repeating access to both uranium and sulfur, which are needed to make the fissile fuel that will make the reactor run. Because the reactor doesn't run if you don't fuel it. Little tip there for you. And then Friday next week, we are going to be playing another episode of The Shattered Obelisk. The Golden Tooth are currently deep within Talhundrath, a buried dwarven cathedral to Dumathoin, the god of the mountain, god of secrets under the mountain. And they are currently dealing with crazy cultists who appear to be trying to put together, well, an obelisk. So tune in for that. In the meantime,
are they trying to unshatter the shattered obelisk?
They are trying to unshatter the shattered obelisk, which I feel is very rude to whoever shattered it in the first place. In the meantime, we are now gonna do a raid, and let us do a raid at Ace Trainer Liam. Is raidable at the moment. He is playing some Scarlet and Violet Pokemons. So go give Ace Trainer Liam some love. We'll see you guys again real soon. For now, so long. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.